Hello pipe community, welcome back to the Barepipe channel. My next pipe project is this lovely pipe that Pipetree sent me from the UK. This is a pipe that was made in the 1960s in Africa, in Tanganyika to be specific, and it was called a kudu shape 43. What was unique about this pipe, however, is the fact that it is a leather wrapped pipe. I have never done a restoration on a leather wrap pipe, so I had quite a bit of research to do on this one, which is why this video has taken a little longer to get published than I would normally take. There's quite a bit to cover in this, so I'm not going to cover anything other than the leather restoration aspects on this pipe, otherwise this would get way too long. We have to cover cleaning the leather, how you restore damage to it, how we recondition it, how we wax it, how we restain it, all those steps I want to go through. So without further ado, let's get into it. The leather on this pipe is quite stained, it's quite dirty, so it needs a good cleaning before I can do anything else, before we can start to condition the leather. So for that, I'm going to use a recipe, which is going to be made up of 1 part cream of tartar, like that, and then 1 part freshly squeezed lemon juice. Like so. And we're going to mix this up. And I'm going to put it all over it. And then we're going to do another coat of this again. And this time I'm kind of massaging it a bit with my fingers, because the leather has now absorbed quite a bit of the lemon juice. And here's what I'm going to do next. You know this guy, Murphy's oil soap. I dilute the Murphy's oil soap in water. It's a ratio of about 1 in 35 to 1 in 40, so it's very diluted. And I'm gonna brush it a bit with that. Now, I don't want this water to be sitting on this for too long, so I'm going to just use this damp cloth and maybe a paper towel and just dry it out a little bit, because I don't want to have the leather completely soaked. And what we're going to do now is take a paper towel, again, dampen it, and we're going to rub this into the leather, like so. And what this does is it'll recondition the leather. It's also acting as a bit of a mild cleaning agent, but its main purpose is to feed the leather and to oil it again. While the leather is busy drying, I want to take a file to this area here. There's some of the glue that was used to glue the leather to the wood that has become exposed in this area here, and it's because of the fact that the leather has pulled back over the years from the surface. I'm using a file that has no rough edge here, so against the leather there's nothing that's abrasive against it. Okay, for the next stage of work, I have taped up the leather to protect it and clean it, because right now I'm busy reaming out the pipe, cleaning up the top, as you can see there. And I want to make sure that all this gunk that's coming out of the pipe doesn't get back onto the leather. So for now, this is what it's going to stay like until I'm finished with cleaning this up, restaining it, cleaning that up, cleaning this up, and then I'm going to peel this off, and then we're going to finish with the leather conditioning. The leather is clean, but you have these kind of bits of leather fiber that's come off, and it's rough and peeling off, and we need to address that. And I've been doing some research about it, and it seems that the way to deal with this is to use a little bit of Gorilla Glue, clear super glue. And I've never done this before. I'm not a leather worker, so I'm going to give it a try, and then we're just going to see what it does and see how it goes. And I'm just going to work it into the fibers so that I don't press the fibers down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask the wood on both sides so that I can restain and refinish. Oh, there's not a cut there. Sorry, I missed one. Okay, so I've masked the top edge of the wood. Now I'm going to take some 600 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to give this leather a very light sanding with it. And the reason I'm doing that is just to make sure that we even out the surface a bit. We're not taking off a lot of material, but it does help to just normalize the surface. I'm going to use the Phoebe's tan color, and we're going to see what that looks like. And if it's not dark enough, then we'll go to a darker color. And I'm going to use a few pipe cleaners together to get a decent amount of material on this. Now, of course, when you do this on real leather, you're not going to burn it in the way that you do on wood. And we're going to see if this is too light, then we're going to have to go a little darker. The leather has now dried, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply some beeswax to this in order to wax the leather. Now, this beeswax have been blended in with a bit of mineral spirits in order to make it a little more malleable. Otherwise, it's way too hard. And I'm going to give it quite a liberal coating of beeswax, and we're going to then heat that up to make sure that it melts in quite nicely into the leather. Gets drawn in nice and deep. Because now it's about polishing leather. And leather polishing is basically some form of natural wax. Canuba, beeswax, even turpentine wax that's been diluted slightly with a volatile compound so that it will evaporate. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my heating gun on this for a bit. What I'm looking to do is just to melt the wax a little bit. And now we're just going to polish this. And I'm going to do this a few times until we build up a nice decent shine on this. So this is going to take a little while. I'll come back to you when I'm done. Okay, I want to show you the final results. This is after I've done fairly extensive buffing and waxing of this leather. I've also put just a regular commercial leather cream on this after I'd finished. The leather is not in fantastic condition, but it's much better than it was. And of course, as I'm moisturizing this leather and softening it up, I've noticed that the seam is starting to open up a little bit. So I'm not going to go any further with it because I am worried that this seam is actually going to split open if I do any more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.